Hey y'all, welcome to Gadfly, the podcast about third parties, fringe candidates, and just generally weird American electoral history. I'm Dusty Wilson.
I'm Una O'Leary.
And Una, we are back with our old bread and butter. No more preview 2022 stuff. I killed myself with Pennsylvania information. It is not I tried to get back into Mehmet Oz and I realized I'm not going to make this my life. Y'all know about Mehmet Oz. Like you said, you can go listen to Maintenance Phase and know exactly about that dude. And yeah, I think I'm good.
Let us stand on the shoulders of giants.
Agreed. Very agreed. So we'll do some more preview 2022 episodes in the future. Just as of right now, I'm feeling good. We're set. And so we're going to go back to a bit of our bread and butter and just talk about weird American electoral history and third party shit.
No more preview. It's post view. Hindsight. Exactly. 2020.
Exactly. And so for this week's tale, it's going to be focusing more on recent history, but I kind of want to go all the way back to the mid 1700s to set the scene, to know what we're getting into.
Ooh, I love it.
So specifically, we're going to be going to Spanish Texas. At this time, the town of Bahar was founded and populated predominantly by immigrants from the Canary Islands, which is a Spanish-owned archipelago off the coast of Morocco. Now, some would stay in Bahar, which eventually became the city we know today as San Antonio, but others became cattle ranchers further to the south along the Medina River. It wouldn't be until 1827 that a permanent home would be placed there by Blas Maria Herrera, in effect creating a new town that at the time would be called Medina. Blas would eventually become one of four people who would earn the moniker the Paul Revere of Texas.
Ooh.
So in 1836, the Texas Revolution was in full effect, and General Santa Anna was making his way north. Blas had been assigned to keep watch over Laredo for any Mexican troop movements, and when he spotted Santa Anna, he rode his horse nonstop to San Antonio to warn the Texan troops that he was coming. And interestingly enough, Santa Anna actually made his final camp before attacking San Antonio at a tree on Blas's property. Now, Herrera did succeed in getting most of the residents of San Antonio to leave, but there was a stubborn contingent of soldiers who refused to go and ended up fighting the Battle of the Alamo, which did not go well in the short term and very well in the long term.
Bump.
So as a gift for warning everyone of Santa Anna's imminent arrival, Blas was given the original doors to the Alamo, which he kept on his family farm until 1984.
That's such a flex.
It really is. Like, yeah, that's the Alamo. It's not all of it, but if you want to see all of it, you can come to my house, I guess.
I just imagine being... I don't know, a landowner somewhere in Europe. And it was like, oh, those are lovely French doors. Like, actually, they're from the Sistine Chapel or something. I don't know.
Yeah. It's like you can't buy them anywhere. No.
Yeah.
Da Vinci made those for our family, especially back in, what year was he alive? 800?
Cool. Oh, is that Pottery Barn?
No, it's Michelangelo. Go fuck yourself. If anything, that is a nice goal. If you ever walk into a millionaire's house, it's just make those comments.
Yeah.
Exactly. H&M. That's nice.
Oh my God. That's from Design Within Reach, isn't it? I
and
own
then
the
they
exact
just
same one.
Kick you out so hard.
I get so mad.
So Medina would spend the next couple decades intermittently changing its name, mainly kind of going along with whoever was in charge of ferrying people across the river. For a time, it was the Medina Crossing. In the 1850s, when Miguel de la Garza ferried people across the river, it was called Garza's Crossing. And in 1879, it was changed to Man's Crossing. And so during this time, the town had grown, also thanks to the Civil War ending, and San Antonio turning back into a place of complete and terrible segregation, which led to a number of Tejano families deciding to move out and just raise cattle outside the city. And a decent chunk viewed this town of whoever's in charge crossing as the perfect place to do just that. In 1886, though, the town would get its final name. And they wouldn't name it after Blas Maria Herrera or any of the men who fought at the Alamo or even any of the families who had made the place their home for a number of years. Instead, they chose to name it after the richest guy in town, Count Norbert von Ormy Offenburg of the Austro-Hungarian Empire.
A count?
Yep, a literal count. So I looked into this because I was like, this guy is clearly a con man. He's not. He's a legitimate count. It depends on who you ask, what his background is. There's one
Dusty, he's just a legitimate businessman.
Look,
offerings in Transylvania.
Yes, I did have to come over the ocean in a box. It's none of your business. Question, how many of you lock your doors at night, and can I come in? But yeah, it's there's a bit of question as to who this guy is. There's one historian who has a not really what's the word I'm looking for, reputable tale about who this guy was, but he believes he was the son of a trader, and he eventually made his way to this town. And then I'll tell you more of his story. So yeah, Count Norbert von Ormy Offenburg of the Austro-Hungarian Empire decides that he really wants to be a cattle baron, and so he moves out to Texas to a place that was a 2-decade-old mansion that had been dubbed the Castle on the Medina. It was built by wealthy merchant Enoch Jones, and the house was described as Pennsylvania style, which from the pictures it appears to be a square and a square. It's just a very square building, a big square.
All right.
So it's Pennsylvania style, whatever that means, but it had a direct view of the Medina River. It was one of the first homes in the entire state to have indoor plumbing, and it was made entirely of limestone. And are you serious, Enoch? A limestone foundation near a moving body of water? Are you trying to get ghosts? Because that's how you get ghosts, Enoch.
Wait, I'm not familiar with this alchemy.
All right. So limestone foundations attract ghosts. Science. That's something I've read a lot. It's mainly the explanation as to why so many castles in Britain are more haunted than others due to a limestone foundation or use of multiple amounts of limestone.
It's like a salt lick to them. It's
exactly. Yeah. Ghosts can't resist it. And I had heard apparently that if there is a moving body of water under your house, that can also attract the ghosts. This is all clear science, undisputed. I'm not going to cite anything because we all know this to be true.
Yeah.
Ghosts are real and they're specific about where they want to live.
QED. And he's a count.
Exactly.
Fucking
exactly. He's bringing ghosts with him.
Yeah.
And so Enoch builds this house, and after only 2 decades, he's already in the market of selling it. Which actually, I'm wrong about that because Enoch actually sold the house to a former British captain by the name of William Michael Glenn Turquard, who is now selling the place. So,
right, because it's haunted.
Exactly. Fucking exactly. So Turquard is noted as being the first person to introduce polo to Texas.
Wow.
Which is why Texas is so polo crazy these days.
Yeah, it could have taken off.
And he also built a polo ground on the castle property.
And then that got haunted.
Exactly. Right. Just horse ghosts were mad they had to play polo. And so the other detail that I think makes this house more haunted is Enoch died before the building was even finished.
Oh, that's never good.
It's not the best of signs. And so a more rational person might say, oh, the house was never finished. That's why they keep selling it, because it looks nice, but nothing got done. And I say, no, Enoch's a ghost. That British captain is just fucked trying to sell it because no one local's going to buy it. So he has to be like, okay, who do I know? I know someone in Prussia. They'll buy that house. Call the count. Get him on the telegraph machine.
Yeah. Don't tell him that Enoch has unfinished business.
Look, if he'd have finished the house, then the blood would not be running down the walls. It would stay in the pipes like a normal haunted building.
I mean, there would be other problems. It's a summer in Texas, but it wouldn't be haunted.
Could you imagine a ghost dealing with humidity?
Oh, no. It's like, why does your hair look like shit?
Yeah, just a ghost lounging on a table, just like refusing to move.
Yeah. It's too hot.
Look, we float really good in cold air. That's why the temperature drops whenever we're near. No, maybe that's why he tried to make a haunted building. He was trying to get cheap air conditioning.
Yes. But then the humans keep like walking into him and it's really uncomfortable.
Yeah, oh my God. Enoch, you did not plan this through. I appreciate the idea. It just, this didn't work out. And now you're the air conditioning. This is the curse.
Big way.
Yep.
Oh.
So either way, the Count found out about the home from his British captain friend and decided, the middle of Texas is a great place to be a cattle baron. He paid $19,000 for this state-of-the-art home on 2,300 acres, which today is about $563,000.
My God.
Which had to be the real insult to Enoch's trapped spectral form, seeing as Enoch spent $40,000 to not even finish the whole damn thing, which is around $1.3 million in today's money.
Oh, we have always been flipping. We have always been in a housing bubble.
Like, Norbert, I told you not to use that gray fake wood. You should have kept the original flooring. Not everything has to be Studio McGee white.
I don't know why you imported the limestone. There was perfectly good limestone around.
Look, marble countertops are fine for show, but you're gonna spill shit on them and they will be ruined. I told you all of this and now you're dead. And now you're a ghost, so I can tell you this during seances.
When I need to keep cool.
Yeah, don't tell me if he's listening or not. I want him to hear all of this. I know he's here. I can hear the sighing that he wants me to believe is him going boo. So the court Norbert ends up moving in with his wife, Countess Franziska, his son, who is also named Norbert, and 20 servants. Norbert had dreams of becoming cattle baron, like I said, but he and the Countess would only stay for 18 months. So the story goes that one night a mysterious stranger appeared at the home. And he and Norbert stayed inside the house for 6 straight days. And then as soon as the stranger left, Norbert, Emma, Norbert Jr., and all the remaining servants just left, never to be seen again.
My God.
And except they actually were seen again in Dresden, but then after that, they were never seen again. Receipts show that the house was sold for $10,000, which is $9,000 less than he paid for it.
Yeah.
And local historians noted that it went through multiple owners due to the place being in poor condition, which is, that tends to happen when poltergeists are always throwing shit around and stacking your good chairs and impossible designs whenever company's over. So there's also another theory as to what happened. And this comes from a historian that we're actually going to talk about in this episode.
Ooh.
His findings, which some people have refuted, that Count Norbert was actually just cheating on his wife because he claims to have found a marriage license of him marrying a commoner named Emma in New York City while leaving Franziska and Norbert Jr. behind in this house.
In the middle of nowhere, Texas? That's so rude.
Yeah, it's, wretched Count shit. And then Emma and Norbert go to Dresden and then are never seen again.
That is a boring and all too believable reason. So I will refute it.
No, I want the story by Blumhouse. I want a fancy count showing up with this fancy wife and his Victorian child, who I assume is wearing a sailor suit and has one of those, toys that you pull behind him on a string. Yes. And there's a scene where he's like walking down the hallway and then the camera's on the string and all of a sudden the string drops and he turns around and the toy's gone, but the string's there. And then there's like haunting music and all sorts of things. And then Willem Dafoe's the groundkeeper and he's like, "You guys need to go," in his Texas accent.
What I love about it is it flips the expectation, because it's always like some Englishman or American idiot headed over to a Count Van Buren's estate deep in Central Europe. And this time it's a Count Van Buren going into deep Texas and being like, oh no, this is terrible.
It's like, you need to leave your wife and marry someone else. Ooh,
in New York.
Also, there's too many of us here. People keep dying. So I like this story because it's like the one bit of history that this town has, but also, so a thing I missed. The Austin American would publish an article in 1868 referring to the castle as long since abandoned. Its roof caved in and a tree growing out from the basement. They did find, though, that in the 1940s, a call had been taken from a Norberto von Ormy, the Count's son, who had chosen to move to Brazil rather than return to Europe. And he wanted to know what the condition of the home was. And being, Central Texas, they said, "Oh, it's dead. It's gone. No one lives there. No one's lived there for a while. It is fucked."
It's the trees now.
Mm-hmm. It's the tree seems scared, but it can't move.
Oh,
yeah, and so that's the last they heard of Norberto von Ormy, and
just straight up calling collect, being like, yeah, hey, just curious about that house. How's the house doing?
Yeah, I mean, you know how it is when you get nostalgic. You wanna drive by your old home. You want to see how it is, and sometimes you just call from Brazil to a small town and hope for the best.
Can you just put the receiver up to the house and?
I want to ask Enoch how he's doing.
Yeah.
Did his soul ever find solace? No.
No.
Deuces, I guess.
It's the tree now? Great. Okay.
Wait, the tree is the ghost now?
Yeah.
Is the tree housing the ghost? Because that seems a little better.
Yes. I feel like that's the natural happy arc of the story.
He goes back and visits and his little toy that he's been missing is at the base of the tree.
Damn it.
Yep. Fucking ghosts. Could have just asked. Around 1900, the town postmaster by the name of Branson Bywater decided, you know what? We need a name for this place. The trains are going to be coming through. We need to make a name for the post office and all that. I'm going to call it Von Ormy, after the Count, who lived here for a year and a half tops.
I love that. Why not?
Yeah. Well, and the funny thing is, Von Ormy's last name is spelled Vonormay. And Branson completely forgot to add the A at the end, and so it's Vonormy, and it's pronounced Von Army.
Von Army.
Yep. So it's a complete switch on a lot of things.
I feel like that's the story of so many towns. Like there's a city in Michigan called Novi, and it's just because it was number 6 on the train line, Novi in Roman numerals.
Oh, son of a bitch. That's hilarious.
Yep.
God damn it. So yeah, so it wasn't really so much a long-standing love of the count and then like, maybe if we name the town after him, they'll come back. It's more that the giant building had become known as the Von Ormy Castle, and it just stuck. And it was the only thing they had in town to really let people know, like a big enough marker that people could use that as a way to figure out where they were.
You take a left at the Von Ormy Castle, and
if you're in the river, you've gone too far. If a ghost tells you to go left, don't listen to it. Grab your crucifix and go the opposite direction. So since then, the town has enjoyed a very quiet existence, with the population steadily rising to around 1,000 people. But something else was growing near them. Voracious and ever expanding was the urban sprawl of San Antonio. In the century that it took Von Ormy to reach 1,000 people, San Antonio had gone from 53,000 to 1.1 million people. And suddenly the city limits were within 3 miles of their home. And if the city grew even further, there was the threat that San Antonio could annex Von Ormy. What does that mean? Well, for that, I'm going to reference the handy document created by the city of Buda, Texas, which apparently gets so many requests from Austin to be annexed that they created a bit of Q&A PDF for the residents. As they put it, quote, annexation is the process of bringing property into the city limits and is one of the primary means in which cities grow. The typical process for a city like Buda is the city will make a formal request to the city council to annex them. It's then voted on by said council. And if the yeas have it, then you have 2 public hearings, 2 readings of the annexation ordinance, and then you, in Buda's case, would become an official part of Austin. To date, Buda still is its own incorporated city, so that's never happened. But that's the key word, incorporated, which means that they have a mayor and a city council and fund all their own public services and utilities. Von Ormy, however, is unincorporated. And this means, they're a community, but they have no local government, and the county supplies all their basic services. And if San Antonio wanted to annex Von Ormy, then they legally just could, so long as the area that they want to annex is unincorporated, adjacent to their city limits, and the amount of land that they wish to annex is no greater than 10% of the city's current area. And the people of Von Ormy would have no say in this matter whatsoever.
Oh, but then couldn't they just incorporate themselves to stop that?
Una, I think you might be ahead of the game on this one.
Ooh.
So if that were to happen, the folks of Von Ormy would be faced with a whole new world of issues. And for one, they'd lose their local independence. But even bigger for them, they suddenly have to pay more taxes. And basing on the tax rates now, the big shift is with their property tax, which would automatically double if they became part of the city. So in 2006, a group of concerned citizens got together to ensure that Von Ormy would never become part of San Antonio. Calling themselves the Committee to Incorporate Von Ormy, or CIVO, they got to work convincing everyone in town that the only way to remain free was to be like the folks in Buda and become a legal incorporated city. It'd be a tough order, though. Like I said, when you incorporate, you suddenly are on the hook for your entire community. You're in charge of sewer systems, power lines, road maintenance, business licenses, not to mention setting up the infrastructure to run elections for your new council and mayor. And I know they hate to hear this, but you have to set tax rates. And nothing ruins friendships like raising the taxes of your pals higher than what the county was, but still lower than the city, and constantly having to explain that, hey, it's still better. I know where it's higher than the county, but it would have been worse. Why have you blocked me on Facebook, Karen? But lucky for Von Ormy, there was a local who had a plan that would save them from all this hassle. It's the very man that I was talking about who looked into the history of Count Norbert von Ormy, a dude by the name of Art Martinez de Vara. So Art and his family had lived in Von Ormy for generations, up to 6 according to him. Art was born in 1975. He'd spent most of his high school career working as a software engineer and attended the University of Colorado at Denver to get his bachelor's degree in history. He'd return home and begin studying at St. Mary's University and work on a master's in systematic theology, which I have read what it is a few times.
Oh.
I don't know still. It seems to be like esoteric Catholicism and applying the Bible with a modern lens, sort of. The description I wrote down is using the Bible to decipher faith's stance on a myriad of issues through a contemporary lens. But they didn't list any examples. And the only thing that I saw as a representation of what it is that John Calvin was super into it, which is always a good sign.
Yeah, I was going to say, it's not a divinity degree, so I'm extra confused.
Yeah, it seems to be Catholic philosophy is my best guess.
Stay away from that.
No, there's so much to learn and not even come close to understanding. So the funny thing is at the exact same time, Art would also get his law degree from St. Mary's, which would be impressive to get your master's degree and your law degree at the same time. But the American Bar Association didn't really rank St. Mary's that high, putting them in the lowest quartile of all law schools in America.
So I could get into St. Mary's, just so aware
Yes.
like where St. Mary's is.
Exactly. It's nowhere near the worst, which I learned is Western Michigan University. Apparently, it's a very terrible law school.
Oh, Western Michigan University. I am
Yeah.
so sorry.
Yeah, it's a real bummer. I hope they get better. I hope they have gotten better since I looked that up.
That's also amazing because in my mind, the worst law school is Cooley Law School, which I think originated out of Lansing. So I don't know what it is about Michigan.
I think Cooley's part of Western Michigan. Let me double check that.
Oh,
Yeah, it's part of Western Michigan. So what stories have you heard about Cooley Law?
it's one of the earlier Trump administrative personas, and just because there were so many and they were all so god awful, I can't even remember which guy it was, but his claim to fame was that he was a graduate of Cooley Law School and he did law stuff for Trump, I think. And everyone was just, and it was just like, okay.
Yeah, I think even beyond that, the American Bar Association had rated it fairly low to begin with. I think it was something like 65% graduation rate or something like that. It was just something abysmal. Don't sue me, Western Michigan. You know it's a bad school. I don't have to get those numbers accurate. I'm talking about something else.
Yeah, maybe divorce yourself from Cooley. Maybe they're dragging you down.
Yeah. Go start your own law school up in the woods. Teach wood law. And so he gets his double master law degree at St. Mary's. But between studying esoteric Catholicism and the law, Art became aware of San Antonio's encroachment. He agreed that incorporating the town was going to be the best route to protecting them from annexation, but he had a more specific plan than just going the traditional route. Von Ormy was going to become a Liberty City. The concept of a Liberty City was created by the Texas Public Policy Foundation, a conservative think tank based out of Austin. They were founded in 1989. They strove to, quote, promote and defend liberty, personal responsibility, and free enterprise in Texas. And this has meant pushing hard for school vouchers, but even harder for denying the existence of climate change. This has led one of their members, Kathleen Harnett White, to be appointed to the chair of the Council of Environmental Quality under Donald Trump. The administration would remove her name, though, after it was discovered that she claimed carbon dioxide was not a pollutant, and attributed the discovery of oil to removing the economic justification for slavery. So you're welcome. Yeah, so why wouldn't these people have a really good plan on how to make the perfect city? So the true impetus of this idea does seem to entirely hinge on the cities annexing unincorporated areas. And I admit, it is a pretty shady thing that one day a city could just decide to make you part of them without you having a say. But why should you suddenly have to become just like a city to save yourself from becoming a different one? And from this, the concept of a Liberty City was born. As to what that is, I'll leave it to TPPF's own Jess Fields to answer. Quote, a Liberty City is a town that incorporates for the express purpose of maintaining limited government, pro-free market policies, and protecting the rights of citizens. Now, Jess isn't going to tell you exactly what a Liberty City should be. I think that kind of defeats the point in their eyes. But there is a 5 points that you need to hit, at bare minimum, to call yourself a Liberty City. 1, taxes are kept as low as possible, especially property taxes. And Field contends that sales taxes and franchise fees from utility companies are more than enough to run a city. Ultimately, property taxes should be phased out entirely to financially benefit residents and lure new businesses to the area.
So no one's worried about schools here.
No. I think that is an interesting thing, that if you are now your own city, I don't know how school districting works if you're a new city, if you have to make one, or if you're still operating under the old school district that your people were going to. But yeah, property taxes are now gone, ideally. 2, city spending is held low via cost-cutting and service provision, such as searching for cheaper options to continue providing services to locals.
I guess all of this is feeling very much like a President's Weekend sale commercial for a city.
Yeah, just
like
pay
low prices. Come in,
automatic-
get a mattress. No property taxes.
Your credit's
Liberty
already confirmed.
towns.
Yeah, one of the examples that they use that Von Ormy would end up doing is just have your fire department be volunteer only.
Okay.
Yeah, what could go wrong?
Yeah, except that's like, that day you don't feel like volunteering and there's a 5-alarm fire.
3, debt is avoided if at all possible, and any city project should be paid out of operating funds. So if you don't have the money, it never gets done.
Like trash collection? What is happening?
I mean, I would hope they would budget in trash collection. But yeah, the general idea is you predict how much you're going to make in sales taxes and these franchise fees and whatever bits of property tax are left before you zone it out completely. And that's your budget for the year. If you can't fit something in that budget, you wait till next year.
Oh, okay. So it's that situation where this would not be the case in a town adjacent to San Antonio, Texas, but say Chicago, where it's just like, yeah, we ran out of salt and also we have no money. So there will be no more salt for the roads for the rest of the year, regardless of what climate change throws at us.
Yeah, we underestimated how much salt we would need to buy this year. There's nothing left in the budget. See you next December.
Yeah, good luck, drivers.
Exactly. Which is a bit of the problem that, I don't know, you have to have a very good accountant on your side if you're going to be making these kinds of predictions. You have to keep things as lean as possible and as certain as possible. You have no room for a sudden environmental disaster or the cost of pens going up.
We're talking 2006, so we are cruising towards the find out portion of our current weather hellscape after so many decades of fucking around.
Yes, exactly. Well, we'll bring this up later, but this is after a major hurricane hit inland and fucked up Von Ormy pretty bad. So these are things that happen. You're also in tornado country. You're in areas that flood very easily. So you would need a venue to be able to get so much more sales tax to be able to ensure you have that buffer to make sure everything's going to be okay. But they got a plan. Don't worry. It's going to be fine. Okay. 4, regulations are minimized to bare essentials. Examples Fields uses are plastic bag bans. Don't need them. Land use regulations. Yeah, but keep them minimal. And commercial development rules. Essentially, the idea is it's your land. Do what you will. As long as no one's getting hurt and you're following basic safety regulations, do your thing.
I actually appreciate that one over some of the zoning regulations you find in big cities.
Yeah, especially here in Chicago, the alderman of your various neighborhood gets to decide what gets built on all the different plots of land. It's called aldermanic prerogative, and it's led to multiple years of corruption. And
depending on the intricacies of the laws and where you are, it affects things of African braid shops and hair shops. Often those operate out of someone's home to keep overhead costs low, but then you get hit with fines because your apartment isn't zoned for that kind of commercial retail. It's this is ridiculous.
Or I was just reading the city of Riverside in California just started giving people at-home restaurant licenses, and and they were
bring back the old tavern.
Oh my god, yes, a publican house, if you will.
Yes.
The restaurant they were covering was making Bengali food, and apparently they open every day at 10:30, are sold out by 10:35.
Oh my god!
You have 2 hours to pick up your food, and it looks. They had chicken tikka masala fries.
Damn.
Yeah, it's just.
It sounds so good.
So fucking good. The samosa crunch just echoed throughout the car the person was in. They had mango lasa. It looks so good. It made me so mad for the first time that I wasn't in Orange County.
Yeah, I'm going to cry. We need to move on.
Seriously. Okay, fine. Yeah. All right. So if you're in Riverside, fucking dive in, man.
Do that.
So in the final, number 5, the constitutional rights of all citizens are protected, potentially via a Citizens' Bill of Rights, which I will say cities do that already, but I think it's more along the lines of doubly ensuring that the local government can't impinge on your freedom of speech, that we're not going to make gun regulations or any sort of, red flag laws or anything like that.
Yeah, fine. Go off, King. You want a special document just for your own sweet self that you can repaste onto Facebook? Fine.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Exactly. So yeah, these are the 5 things at minimum you have to do to be a Liberty City. And it's alluded that Art heard of the Liberty City movement during the Tea Party protests. And when his hometown looked ready to incorporate, he took the chance to make Von Ormy the very first place in Texas to give it a go. Now, I do need to say that much of the story that follows comes to us thanks from an article in the Texas Observer by James McCandless. According to the article, Art approached the Incorporation Committee, which also just kind of happened to include his mom, Sally Martinez.
Stop it!
And pitched the idea. He spoke of Von Ormy being a town that would get rid of property tax, that wouldn't charge anyone for building permits, and would deliver said permits by hand on the same day. It would also be a town where you could shoot off fireworks whenever you wanted on your property. You could smoke in any indoor location. And a special one here for the teens, there's no curfew. So you can stay out smoking and shooting off fireworks all you goddamn want.
And he's pitching this to his mom?
Yeah, he's pitching this to the elder statesman of Von Army. And the town will initially have property and sales taxes, because it's going to cost a lot of money to do that switch over. But the goal was to scale down the property tax each year until Von Army solely raised funds on sales tax alone. However, he's not going to raise the sales tax from one percentage to another. The ultimate goal is to bring in more business so you have more revenue instead of having to raise the sales tax. So like you get more businesses in, naturally you're going to get more money from sales tax and you're good. It's not like all that's going to raise your costs in any way.
Right. No. And this is totally like not predicated hugely on one single factor that the businesses will come and just be so excited to be in the play school's My First Freedom City.
The town would vote on this pitch, and by 88%, the folks of Von Army decided to incorporate as a Liberty City. And who better to be the town's first mayor than Art Martinez de Vara? And the mayor pro tem is his mom, Sally.
That nugget is so perfect because as you're describing this, it just feels like the town is an 18-year-old who decided not to go to college, but the parents are like, but you need to do something. And our basement isn't the option you think it is.
God, just let me take the town out for the weekend. God.
My World of Warcraft stats are really high right now.
God. You know what? Maybe I should include that in my pitch for why this town is dumb and make it better. What if we made a town but not stupid? How about that? Yeah, so 88% of the town is fully on board for this. And in 2008, they are a fucking city. San Antonio cannot touch them. And for the first decade, it looked like Art was making the whole thing work. In 2015, he would present the town's successes to the Texas Public Policy Foundation that included ridding the town entirely of property tax, running a 20-man police department by hiring only rookie cops.
Oh, no.
Yeah. Well, the idea was you can pay them less. We know they're going to move on to other jobs eventually. And we just were a constant pipeline for the police academy that if you have new folks, send them here.
Yeah, because that's really how it's. Yeah, no, we're totally just a farm team for really great police officers and definitely not like the rejects of every other
Oh my God, you're right.
Yeah.
For all the cops that aren't just immediately like, you're good, go to Houston and be like, oh, you fucker, Von Army, have fun.
Von Army.
You need a little more practice time. But also the police force was partially volunteer as well.
No. So it's just like, I get to carry a gun.
I don't know if volunteers get guns, but I would assume. They created an online-only city hall and had enough cash left over to make an entire department for animal control. And they were able to do this with just sales tax and dwindling amounts of property tax. And everything was going so well that Art even found time to take multiple jobs outside of being mayor. In 2010, he opened Martinez de Vara Law Firm alongside his wife, Marina Martinez de Vara, and the town's associate city judge, Adrian Spears. In 2011, Art became the chief of staff for State Representative John Garza until Garza lost re-election in 2012. He'd end up moving on to being chief of staff for State Senator Connie Burton during her first campaign, and then left in 2015. And somehow, he also found time between mayoring, chief of staffing, and getting his master's degree from Sam Houston State University to also take a fourth job in 2014. He became the city attorney for Sandy Oaks, Texas. And I assume he did that because Sandy Oaks was getting encroached by San Antonio and was interested in becoming a Liberty City.
This little music man.
He was doing so well and building such a big name for creating this successful Liberty City that the town of Kingsbury, Texas also brought him on to be the city attorney and help them create a Liberty City themselves.
God, he is just shoveling money while everyone else is voluntary.
So Art had built up his star so much that he just didn't have time to be mayor of Von Army anymore. In 2015, he would step down and followed this up by becoming the assistant general counsel of the state Republican Party. It is important to note, there are a lot of things here that sound very libertarian, and I will give you that. When asked if he is a libertarian, he pauses on that. He doesn't seem to be willing to say that. He says he's part of the liberty lobby of the Republican Party, but he's a libertarian. I hate to say this, man.
Yeah.
I hate to say it. You're kind of the worst kind of libertarian where it's like, just say it, man. Like, it's cool. It's fine. Just be.
What are you scared of?
Just own it, Art.
Feminism. Just say it. Just say it.
It's just like, look, no one respects Rand Paul more because he doesn't decide to say he's a libertarian. Anyway, so Art's going around. He's got this big job with the Republican Party, but he needed someone he could trust to keep things running smoothly in Von Army. So he made it known that he wanted the town to pick original Incorporation committee member Trina Reyes. Trina had moved to Von Army from San Antonio back in 1982 after working as a buyer for a beauty supply company. When the town spoke of incorporation, she was jazzed about it. But by 2017, when she talked to the Texas Observer, she had a more nuanced view of everything. Despite the original vote having 88% support, she noted that the town was more split than the vote would make it seem. Quote, some really liked it. They liked the possibility of getting streetlights, sewage, better roads, and all the stuff that comes along with incorporating. There was quite a bit promised, and people bought into it, including myself. A lot of the people that did not want to incorporate were saying that once you become a political entity, you start with the corruption, the infighting, and all the stuff that comes along with having public figures. They said it was going to divide the city, which it did. The majority of people that spoke up against incorporating were right then about what's happening now. So while Art had been able to present Von Army as this libertarian success story, Trina found that once she was in charge, that the new town was in much more dire straits than everyone had been led to believe. So to begin with, one of Art's big promises was that the low property taxes would bring business to town. And initially, businesses did have interest. There was one big problem, though. The town of Von Army was on septic tanks, and big businesses want sewage lines. For example, let's say Walmart wants to come to Von Army. It would require a ridiculously huge septic tank to deal with all the bathroom stuff that's going on in that Walmart. Plus, you have to empty your septic tank on a regular basis. Usually, if you're a homeowner, it's probably like once a year or something like that. For Walmart, for the amount of stuff going on in there, it is daily. You are going to have a truck out there pumping a septic tank 24/7, essentially. The other downfall is it's $20,000 to install a tank. But also, the larger your business or home is, the higher risk there is of the whole thing rupturing and failing. And if the tank fails, you're on the hook for it. You have to pay for cleaning. You have to get everything fixed. Oh, and also they're very bad in flood areas that flood regularly. So
this is so gross.
Yeah, it's essentially if you're a Walmart and you have to build a septic tank there, you're just counting down the days for poop flood that you're going to have to deal with. And so large businesses that were approached were like, hey, if you have a sewer system, we'll join it. We'll show up. And it's around this time that the city of Von Army hired a former graduate assistant of theirs named James Massey. James was in grad school for government policy. One of their internships is they had to take a job at a town or city government before graduating. And James was super excited. And he's talking to NPR's Planet Money about this. And he was excited to go to Von Army because it was a brand new city. And he figured if I show up here, I actually get a chance to help form the city and create what it's going to be.
Yeah.
According to him, he went into the interview. They said, hey, can you do all these different things? And he was like, yeah, I can do that. And they're like, all right, you're hired. Come on down. And they thought he did such a good job as an intern. They immediately hired him to be the city administrator.
Oh, shit. Okay. Too bad it doesn't pay. It's a voluntary position.
Oh, so one of the things I missed is when he was interning for the city, Art walked up to him and said, hey, so we need to get some laws on the books. What I want you to do is I want you to look at all the cities around us for their housing regulations or safety regulations. Just copy and paste what they have and we'll make those our laws.
Don't you want to bespoke it a little bit, craft it?
Art's busy. Art's got like 8 places to be today. So the real thing that sucks is when James took the job as city administrator, he actually didn't know that this whole Liberty City thing was going on. He just assumed that they were making a town and were just kind of being cheap in some regards.
Oh.
And he had no idea about the property taxes being eliminated. And when he found out about this, he was like, we are in deep shit. This isn't going to work.
Yeah.
Because with a lot of when you reincorporate and you're a small town, you need those property taxes to suddenly pay for a fuck ton of shit. So they're presented with this problem of they have to create a sewer system. And Art puts it entirely on James, who I might add is 25 at the time.
Oh, sweet James.
Yeah. And so
sweet
James,
baby boy.
they found an option. And it was essentially the town could connect with the city of San Antonio's wastewater system. As James put it, he would go to the meetings with the San Antonio Water Board, and he was like, I felt like an adult. I was just in the room talking with these people, I was wearing suits and everything. It felt like a real job. And so he's constantly trying to find a deal that's actually going to work for the money that they have. And eventually he whittles down the city of San Antonio after months of back and forth to them being like, okay, fine. We will let you connect to our system. We'll pay for most of it. But we need some buy-in. We need to know that you're at least going to slightly support this. All we ask is for Von Army to pay $5 million for the building. And James was so excited. This was a steal of a fucking lifetime. So he goes back to Art, tells him the deal, and Art immediately says, you are not going to raise taxes in my town. That is off, not going to do it. So James immediately, he came back with like, well, we could float a bond. We could take a loan to be able to pay for this, like a lot of other towns do when they can't raise the money through property taxes. And Art turned that down too, saying that it would be taking on debt. That is not the point of the city. So no, go back to them and tell them, no, we're not taking the deal.
Okay, then we're also not getting that Walmart, Art.
I felt really bad for James listening to this because he went back to the San Antonio Water Board, who had been working with him for months to make a deal, told them that like it's off, he's not going to accept it. And they were pissed. Essentially, what they had said is, we spent a lot of time and money to be able to come up with this deal. Yeah. And someone from Von Ormy needs to be present during the next water board meeting to let them know why. And Art didn't go. He sent James.
Wow, this poor 25-year-old who is doing his best.
Yep. And James would resign from city administrator 2 weeks after that.
Yeah.
Art, when questioned about this, states that the reason he said no is he just thought it was a bad deal. Didn't think he was getting the best deal from the city of San Antonio on this, so he just shot it down.
How would he even know?
As he put it, he didn't want to mortgage the town's future in the hopes that businesses would actually come with it. Which...
But you mortgage the whole existence of the town predicated on that idea.
100%.
Oh my God.
Like if you have businesses who are like saying, James put it, he was talking with a lot of these businesses during this time. And whenever they brought up the sewer system, he's like, I can't lie to them and say, yeah, we have it. You just can't see it. He's like, as soon as they brought that up, I knew it was going to be a no. So now James is gone. The town does have $500,000 in funds, but the free market couldn't find a cheaper option for the sewage system. And by the time Trina became mayor, the sewer system had not been put in and everything is still working on septic. But the thing is, the town didn't fail because Art got himself a lucky break. It's around this time that oil was discovered nearby, and the interstate highway that ran along Von Ormy had a burst in off-ramp truck stops and gas stations to buoy the town's sales taxes and ended up raising $215,000 a year.
My God.
But also kind of turns out Art actually hadn't completely gotten rid of property taxes when he said he would. So he'd cut them from 39 cents per $100 of home value in 2019 to 25.5 cents in 2014, but promised that when he stepped down in 2015 that property tax would be nothing, which I might add essentially means that Trina is going to enter the job with no revenue from that whatsoever. He's just going to pull the rug and leave town. And the thing though is that he probably would have been fine if, the sales tax along the interstate were still going great. But 2014 was also the year that the price of oil tanked.
Oh my
America
God.
in particular made the mistake of making too much of it. And the whole world had too little demand for it. So when you take too much product and too little demand, it tanks the cost of what you can sell it for. In the 2-year period of 2014 to 2016, the cost of oil per barrel would drop 70% from $120 to $45. And when that happens, newer oil rigs shut down until supply and demand can fix themselves, very much like the rigs near Von Ormy. And suddenly, that sales tax revenue is gone. It also didn't help that around the same time, Art had lost the support of the majority of the city council. 3 members had grown to realize that if they fully got rid of property tax, that they would no longer be able to supply the services the town had come to expect. However, the 2 other members of the council, which included Art's mom, Sally, were still on his side and fighting to fulfill his promise.
So at least there's that. Sally still loves her boy.
That's true. Oh my God. If there is a theme in this. Maybe be more judgmental of your children.
Always.
In September 2014, Art made one last push to eliminate property taxes. And as predicted, the city council voted it down 3-2. The thing, though, is under Texas law, you have to have another vote to ratify the actual property tax rate that you're going to have for the next year. This was just a vote to eliminate it. And since they didn't, got to have another vote to decide what the rate's actually going to be. And Texas law states that you at least have to have 4 members of the city council present for a vote to occur. So when the council met again, Art's mom and the other supporter just didn't go. So by default, Art was able to get property tax eliminated for 2015.
Oh my God, Art!
But the majority city council wasn't going to go down without a fight. Instead, they chose to hold a city council meeting at the town fire station without inviting the dissenting faction. They voted themselves as the actual town government, elected council member Jacqueline Good as the new mayor pro tempore, established the original property tax they were planning to have, and fired the chief of police.
Holy shit. I love a coup.
Yeah.
I love a schism in the church.
Also, a side story about Jacqueline. 2 years before forcing the mayor to follow their vote. Her home had been completely destroyed by a tornado, and then a flood followed the tornado and destroyed her basement.
Wow. And then a salt factory was hit. It
Just like
salted the earth.
Yeah, Sally Martinez showed up and just dumped a bucket of salt on her garden and left. But yeah, Jacqueline had been a long-term volunteer for the Society of St. Vincent de Paul. And when they found out what happened, they got together with Haven for Hope and just built her a new home. Also because she didn't have insurance, so she was pretty much fucked if they didn't.
Yikes.
So this happened 2 years before the following happens. So Art finds out what happened, and he sends the Texas Rangers after them.
My God.
A local judge had found them in violation of the Texas Open Meetings Act, which they had technically broken by not inviting the council minority to attend, which led to the Rangers arresting and jailing Jacqueline and fellow member Carmina Aguilar. They'd also planned to arrest the remaining council member, Verna Lee Hernandez, but she was in the hospital at the time and did not arrest her and take her to jail.
Well, that's nice.
The charges would be dropped, but Art had dropped a Molotov cocktail on an already tense situation just in time to hand that all off to Trina. But Art and Trina had one big goal that they agreed on. They had to kick the majority council out of the Von Ormy government, which of course is easier said than done. In a meeting on September 25th, 2015, Trina would get into an argument with Jacqueline and Verna Lee, stating that they were speaking out of turn. Verna Lee kept talking, so Trina had the chief of police escort her out of the building and had her arrested for disrupting a meeting, which landed Verna Lee in the town jail for the night. This pretty much became the norm and nothing was getting accomplished. So Art called up with a plan. We need to change this government to a commissioner-style government. Trina states, quote, "At that point, I would have done anything to get rid of those 3 women. They were nothing but trouble." What Art was more specifically promising was switching the type of municipality of Von Ormy was. Initially, they're a type A, which requires them to have a mayor and a 5-member city council. Art was wanting them to switch to a type C, which James McCandless notes is extremely rare. There are 27 towns in all of Texas that have this type of government. The shape of a type C government is you have a mayor and 2 commissioners, and that's it. So they would have to have a new set of elections to elect these new 2 commissioners. 2 months later, the change would be on the ballot for Von Ormy and ended up passing 129 to 115.
Wow.
The town would also select Art's followers, Sally Martinez and Alex Quintanilla, as the new commissioners, essentially kicking out the majority city council.
Wow. It actually worked.
You'd think, because instead of actually smoothing things out, it made things much worse.
No.
For one, Trina was now worried that the Open Meetings Act could be used against her by her nemesis at any point now, because you now only need 2 of the 3 elected officials to have a quorum. So if Sally was, say, talking to Alex over the phone, that counts as a meeting.
That's a quorum.
That's a quorum.
Oh, just because you're paranoid doesn't mean you're wrong, Trina.
Exactly. Well, and it really sucks because Alex was her next door neighbor.
Oh my God.
Yeah. It got to the point that Trina just wouldn't even talk to Sally or Alex over the phone or in public. She just had to save everything for in person, and that's it. Things would get even worse by the summer and fall of 2016. When Trina took on the job, the one agreement that she had with the majority council was that the current chief of police, Greg Reyes, no relation, had to go. Not only had he allegedly made a habit of harassing the majority council, but he also harassed city employees and lied about his background to get the job. Trina hired a private investigator to look into Greg, and Greg had claimed that he got his degree from San Antonio College and served in the Frio County Narcotics Task Force. After looking into it, he never attended San Antonio College, and the task force in Frio County never existed.
But he did try coke.
Look, you gotta. So Trina nominated the idea of hiring Pedro Rosario to be the new chief of police. And after the commissioners approved him, Pedro found some very serious issues with the way Greg was doing his job. According to Pedro, quote, "The evidence room had very little to no control measures. It was literally an 18-wheel trailer that was unsecured. There was no cataloging. I found unmarked boxes filled with everything from weapons to narcotics. And anybody could walk in, and they did. A lot of city council members would just walk in, want to see a file or grab things.
Chaos.
So folks in town had been very wary of the cops as well, with one noting that Art's plan to save money by hiring only new recruits led to misconduct and illegal behavior.
Yeah, fucking duh.
Yeah, if you don't have a veteran, it kind of makes it tough. And especially when the guy you hired to run them is a corrupt piece of shit. So after these statements, Sally and Alex voted to fire Pedro and rehire Greg Reyes.
What?
Because maybe Sally was the one walking into that trailer whenever she wanted.
Oh my God.
Allegedly. Trina refused to acknowledge Greg as the new police chief, and a stalemate ensued. By now, the 3 were not speaking, not just to avoid breaking the law, but because they fucking hated each other. Trina quit going to town meetings due to allegedly Sally and Alex spending the whole time bullying her. An example of this would be when Sally and Alex voted to reclassify the mayor's office as a conference room and then made Trina relocate her desk and supplies into her own home, essentially making her home office a government building. Also, Trina had to pay out of pocket to have her stuff moved.
Wow, this is so petty.
Finally, the Bexar County Sheriff settled the issue for Von Ormy. Part of Von Ormy's deal was that Bexar County would offer dispatch services if something occurred that took more than just what the local police could handle. Say there's a shootout at the bank, we can call the county cops and we at least have their back and can be safe. But with the city not settling on the new police chief for so long, they couldn't offer those services any longer. So they pulled their dispatch services, which led the Texas Commission on Law Enforcement to pull the Von Ormy Police Department's accreditation, which meant that the county sheriff was now in control of the city. The former police department would park their 3 cars in Trina's yard, where they would stay until the end of her tenure.
Oh my God.
Trina stated that by the end, the whole Liberty City movement had failed, noting that unless the city chose to take on debt to fix infrastructure and connect to the nearest sewer system, the Incorporation would be doomed in 3 to 5 years. When the Texas Observer came to Von Ormy to talk to Trina, she said she was counting down the days until March 2017, when she could leave her job and the town altogether.
Wow.
And a bit of happiness, she is today in San Antonio and works as a real estate agent for Berkshire Hathaway.
Bless. Good for you, Tina.
But who would even want to take this job amongst all this stability? Well, there's 2 people. On one side, there's a mechanic by the name of David Farr. Now, David's a fan of the idea of becoming a Liberty City, but viewed the obvious nepotism of Art and Sally as kind of stalling any potential progress. But also, he's quick to point out that when Art's name started to get big, he abandoned the town to grow his own star rather than just stay and make sure everything worked. And that sort of talk just won't do for his competitor, Sally Martinez. Now, I will say Von Ormy has not made the news that much since all this drama. But when NPR interviewed Art and James Massey, they did visit the city in 2019. They interviewed residents who overwhelmingly felt like the city experiment was a complete failure, with the exception of Art, who claimed that the experiment was absolutely a success.
Is he even there? He's living on like 15 paychecks.
Quote from Art: "Still no debt, still no property tax, and we have the highest reserve funds we've ever had. I think some people have a misconception that your municipal government is going to somehow be able to, how would you say that? You know, we promised, A, to provide municipal services in an efficient manner and to stay out of people's lives. And I think we've accomplished that."
Sir, no, the police force was parked on your successor's lawn.
Yeah. Now, I will say the police force has come back since then.
Great.
During that time, they also had to get rid of the animal control division, which furiously pissed off the guy who was in charge of it.
Sure.
They were running a pet shelter at the time, too. And yeah, it was a real bummer of a moment. Sally has also been able to raise funds by a usually contentious manner by making Von Ormy a speed trap. So she states that from 2018 to 2019, the town brought in $60,000 in speeding tickets alone. And she predicted that in 2020, they'd be able to raise that to $250,000 in fines.
That is everywhere in Nevada. My friend and I got hit.
Oh, boo. That is such bullshit.
It's like a 2 to 5 mile stretch as you are trying desperately to leave whatever small town you are apparently mispronouncing.
Yep.
And it is 25 miles an hour.
Oh,
and
fuck
if you
that.
aren't aware or looking, or if you're thinking like, oh, I can already see the next speed posted sign, which is 45. I'm going to drive that. Bam. They are on you.
It's such a fucky way to try to raise money instead of, I don't know, keeping property taxes where they are. Still low, still very low.
Yes.
Anyway, so it made me really curious how high these tickets are. So I went to the Von Ormy website, which is a mess of unfinished and blank pages. But their page for traffic violations is the only thing that is clearly filled out. It's sort of like a menu of ways to fuck up at a 5-star restaurant. And compared to the kinds of traffic tickets we have here in Chicago, it is a stark difference. Now, I will say, in all fairness, our fine for driving without a license is higher. Von Ormy fines for everything else about 5 times more than what you would pay here for fucking up.
Holy shit.
So let's say you're caught driving 75 into 70 here on the Dan Ryan. Here, that's a $35 fine. Also, they wouldn't pull you over for that because everyone's already going 85.
Yeah, people are honking at you for driving slowly at that point.
In Von Ormy, you are fined $234.90.
Oh, 90 cents? What the?
Yep. I don't know what the 90 cents is about, but it's fucking there. Processing fees? I don't fucking know.
Maybe. Oh, wow.
Let's say you have a broken light anywhere in your car here in Chicago, $28.50, but more than likely a warning.
Mm-hmm.
In Von Ormy, it kind of depends on which light. The range goes from the low end if one of your red stopping signals is out to $150.50. But if one of your head or tail lights are out, $223.40.
Oh my God.
And I don't know, are you driving too close to someone? That's $200. Pulled over $200 for driving too close to someone. Did a cop just see you on your cell phone? Congrats. That's a ticket of $266, the highest one they have.
Holy shit.
So NPR very specifically talked to Sally about this. It's just like, isn't this just taxing out of towners? And she stuttered for a little bit. And there's like, well, if you speed in any town, you're going to get pulled over. It's the same here. And as a reminder, there's an interstate that goes through Von Ormy. And if you're going from like regular interstate speeds to whatever the fuck they want to make it, you're going to get fucked.
Wow.
So since Trina Reyes left town, Von Ormy has reinstated their police department. In 2017, Artwood petitioned to form the Von Ormy Film Commission to lure productions and somehow got themselves hyped as the farm film capital of South Texas. And this is based on the fact 3 short films got filmed there in 2017.
Good Lord.
Since then, the Film Commission's website and Facebook have not been updated. And this
Great.
is despite the fact that 2 full-length movies have been filmed since there.
Wait, what? Well, it's voluntary.
Yeah.
Whoever is doing this work.
Exactly. Yeah, it's not like they're paying a webmaster. I think it was a WordPress if I looked right.
Oh boy.
So one is a zombie horror movie called Havoc 114. The other is a horror movie called Abduction of the Fourth Kind.
Okay.
Neither have been released, but based on their trailers, they're going to end up for free in the depths of Amazon Prime one day.
Great.
I'm probably going to watch 15 minutes of both, but they look just insufferably bad.
Amazing.
Based on Google Maps, the push to increase businesses appears to have never formed. And it's my guess that the town has just chosen to make the bulk of their funding from traffic violations at this point.
Yikes.
As for Sandy Oaks and Kingsbury, Kingsbury appears to be the only one still operating as a Liberty City. Sandy Oaks gets nearly half their yearly budget from property tax, while Kingsbury relies entirely on sales tax and franchise fees. But, I will kind of give them the benefit on that because Kingsbury is a lot smaller than Sandy Oaks. The thing, though, is that both have regularly operated with a deficit of more than double the taxes that are brought in, kind of disproving the point that you need those property taxes to run your fucking city.
Yeah, it's just like, cool. So we'll just be in debt. Whatevs.
And this isn't just for fancy sort of shit. This is general operations, emergency services, road maintenance, economic development funds, and nothing else. And it took a bit, but I did eventually find the approved budget for Von Ormy for 2020. Even with all the sales taxes and traffic fees, they are still $220,000 over budget. But they've decided that they're going to do a bit of a counting trickery and count it as a carryover for the next year's budget, where you can say, yeah, we're over. We're going to count that amount we're over for next year. We'll just have a lower budget next year instead.
Yeah, it's like when I pay the minimum $25 on my credit card.
Yeah.
But I'm in the thousands for what I owe.
That's a problem for future Una.
Yeah.
And I would like to note that Sandy Oaks and Kingsbury have put their new budgets up for this year, while Von Ormy has not. And it kind of makes me wonder why, because I doubt that carryover is working very well.
Carry over wayward son.
Podcast done. So Art continues to run his law practice with offices in Von Ormy in Houston. He still involves himself in Von Ormy business, and also vice versa for Sally, because do you know who's the paralegal of the Martinez Devara?
No.
It's Sally. Sally got her paralegal license just so she could work with her son.
Oh, this is so okay.
And this is the story of the incorporation of Von Ormy, Texas.
God.
It's not as bad as the town in Vermont, but it's also not great.
It's not. But you know what? It leaves me with a feel-good feeling of being in an incorporated city, no matter how disastrously poor Chicago is running.
Yeah.
You at least have a sewer system.
Exactly. Yeah. I think we can credit a lot of that to the city burning down entirely and being able to start over.
I think we can credit it a lot to repeated cholera outbreaks.
Oh, that too. Yeah.
In the 1860s, and people realizing like, hey, maybe we should do something about this. Hey, let's send our shit to St. Louis. Fuck them.
Great. God damn it. Poor St. Louis. Yeah, it's one of those things where I understand the impetus to stay free and not suddenly have to pay for a bunch of things you don't want to pay for. But at this point, it kind of feels like the benefits would have worked out pretty well. I mean, you'd be attached to the sewer system right now. You'd have a ton of more businesses coming in. You'd probably be able to grow your city. But if that's not what you want, I kind of get it.
Yeah, your police force wouldn't be a joke, and you wouldn't absolutely hate your neighbor because neither of you probably would have ended up in politics.
Yeah. And, I was wondering whether or not to include this. They have continued to have issues with their police. Most recently, there was a dude they fired because he had resigned from his previous position in another police department for violence and not being good at his job. But also he lives in San Antonio, and the San Antonio police had been called on him multiple times for domestic violence. And I kind of want to say, maybe, I'm not a fan of the police by any stretch, but if you're going to have a police, maybe don't find the cheapest you can get.
Yeah. Yeah. Some things is like you do get what you pay for.
Yeah. Oh, the other thing I forgot to mention. So one of the things they mentioned on NPR when they're driving around with Art, because Art's giving them a tour of the place. One of the NPR people is like, there are a lot of fireworks stands here.
Oh my God.
And he's like, yeah, we're one of the few towns that gives them a lot of freedom to be able to open up. So,
good for them for that.
I know. Look,
that's nice.
Look, we've all driven across the Illinois border to Wisconsin and or Indiana to buy a hand-destroying amount of fireworks. So you know what? I can support that. It's bringing fireworks jobs to Von Army when no one else will.
That moment you start to see the black cat billboards.
Yeah. Oh my God, yeah. Oh man. So Una, that's the goofy ass tale of Von Army. Have we learned any lessons from this?
Yeah, fucking just pay taxes. Jesus Christ, be part of the society. Oh my God, just grow up, eat your vegetables. Fucking put in a sewer system.
Yeah, the thing that blows my mind. Maybe keep property taxes for a while, and when you get the sewer system, cut them then.
Careful, Dusty. You might be recruited to be the next mayor of a Liberty town.
I mean, for one, I'm not related to anyone who runs one, so that's never going to happen.
Yeah, that's a knock against you.
And yeah, it just blows my mind that our Art had brought up that whenever the topic of property taxes came up each year, it wasn't a question of, people complaining about them. It was always people coming in with the expectation that they were going to go down again. And so it's not like Art could go in and be like, hey guys, we got to keep it the same, or hey, we have to raise them, because it would go completely against what he was trying to do.
Yeah, maybe just don't set up that expectation too. Because it was one of those things where it's like, you could just keep property taxes low-ish.
Mm-hmm.
Done. They're still lower than if you had incorporated with San Antonio.
Yeah. Nope. That's no, we gotta go with ideological puritanism on this. Yeah, ideological purity on this.
We gotta cut the fat from the bone, and then we just gotta fucking cut that bone. Just cut it.
You cut the fat from the bone and then wonder, why the fuck am I cold?
Oh no.
Well, on that note, that's probably a good place to drop off on this quick episode. Like I said, we're going back to the goofy third party times, and Una, next week. I am so excited because, it's been a long time since we talked about medical quackery.
Ooh.
Those good old Buck Claflin days ruining Victoria Woodhull's life.
Oh, I love a snake oil.
Oh, things are about to get very snake oil. So yeah, I guess on that cliffhanger, we'll see you next week here on Gadfly. Yay! I didn't finish it because you didn't pay your property taxes, so we can't really. Gadfly is a production of Added Serotonin. Our episodes are edited by Brianna Valentine of Rem Alternus Productions. Our theme song is Sophomore Makeout by Silent Partner, and you can find us on Twitter and Instagram at GadflyPod.
Ready to level up your cosplay game? Check out the Geek Forge on Etsy. With a variety of props to give your photos that extra spark, you'll find just what you need. Hold magical fire in the palm of your hand, or take a potion to restore your mana. With a large variety of colors, you can choose your own magical flavor for your cosplay. Bring drama to your photo shoots with these vibrant props and more, all available at the Geek Forge. Are you ready to level up your cosplay?